Good afternoon, everyone. This is Cynthia Guazda, Community Services Librarian, coming to you live from the Hagaman Memorial Library. So today, I'd like to talk to you about some of our new adult fiction that's available at the library. So without further ado, I will discuss some new titles. You can borrow these just by calling the library at 203-468-3890. And you can ask for the titles, or you can put them on hold through our website, www.hagaman, Hagaman, library, that's one word, .org. And you can click on my account and you can go you click on catalog in my account, and then you can log into your account and put them on hold that way. Or as I said, you can call the library and we will put them aside for you. So without further ado, I'd like to talk to you about some great new titles we have. So we'll do that. Okay. Okay. So the first book I'd like to talk to you about is Never Tell by Selena Montgomery. Criminal psychologist Dr. Aaron Abbott wants nothing more than to live a quiet life. That means no danger, no intrigue, and absolutely no romance. But when Aaron suspects a serial killer is roaming New Orleans, her investigation throws her straight into the arms of the one man who can help her. Journalist Gabrielle Moss is hot to find his next big story, and he knows Aaron is onto something that will rock the city to its core. However, Aaron is also a mystery he must solve. From the moment they meet, Gabrielle senses that she is hiding more than her beauty behind her boxy suits and sensible shoes. When she reluctantly agrees to work with him to uncover the most shocking story they have ever come across, explosive secrets are revealed, and danger and passion begin to rise. That's called Never Tell by Selena Montgomery. Think of Me by Frances Liardet. 1942, Alexandria, Egypt. Covered in dust, Yvette and James hold hands for the first time as bombs explode above them. As World War II rages on, they will find their way back to each other time and again, their love a beacon for their survival. After the war, they make a life together in England, where happiness takes root and blossoms, until a tragic event drives a wedge between them. The path back to one another is uncharted territory that both must be brave enough to face. 1974, England. 10 years after his wife's death, James moves to the English village of Upton, seeking change. There he discovers a scarf that lights the dark edges of his memory. Could it be Yvette's? As James makes a new home for himself, he begins to unlock revelations about his past that just might return his lost faith to him. Faith in humanity, in himself, and perhaps most important of all, his faith in love. Captivating and inspiring, Think of Me explores the power of love to echo across the years and its power to save. That's called Think of Me by Frances Liardet. Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. In present-day California, Eleanor Bennett's death leaves behind a puzzling inheritance for her two children, Byron and Benny. A traditional Caribbean black cake made from a family recipe with a long history, and a voice recording. In her message, Eleanor shares a tumultuous story about a headstrong young swimmer who escapes her island home under suspicions of murder. The heartbreaking tale Eleanor unfolds, the secrets she holds back, and the mystery of a long-lost child challenge everything the siblings thought they knew about their lineage and themselves. Can Byron and Benny reclaim their once close relationship, piece together Eleanor's true history, and fulfill her final request to share the black cake when the time is right? Will their mother's revelations bring them back together or leave them feeling more lost than ever? Charmaine Wilkerson's debut novel is a story of how the inheritance of betrayals, secrets, memories, and even names can shape relationships and history. Deeply evocative and beautifully written, Black Cake is an extraordinary journey through the life of a family changed forever by the choices of its matriarch. Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. The Tobacco Wives by Adele Myers. Maddie Sykes is a burgeoning seamstress who just arrived in Brightleaf, North Carolina, the tobacco capital of the South, where her aunt has a thriving sewing business. After years of war rations and shortages, Brightleaf is a prosperous wonderland in full Technicolor bloom, and Maddie is dazzled by the bustle of the crisply uniformed female factory workers, the palatial homes, and most of all, her aunt's glossiest clientele, the wives of the powerful tobacco executives. But she soon learns that Brightleaf isn't quite the carefree paradise that it seems. A trail of misfortune follows many of the women, including substantial health problems. And although Maddie is quick to believe that this is a coincidence, she inadvertently uncovers evidence that suggests otherwise. Maddie wants to report what she knows, but in a town where everyone depends on big tobacco to survive, she doesn't know who she can trust and fears that exposing the truth may destroy the lives of the proud, strong women whom she has forged strong bonds. Shedding light on the hidden history of women's activism during the post-war period, at its heart, The Tobacco Wives is a deeply human, emotionally satisfying, and dramatic novel about the power of female connection and the importance of seeking truth. That's The Tobacco Wives by Adele Myers. The Orchard by Christina Gorcheva-Newberry. Coming of age in the USSR in the 1980s, best friends Anya and Milka try to envision a free and joyful future for themselves. They spend their summers at Anya's dacha just outside of Moscow, lazing in the apple orchard, listening to Queen songs and fantasizing about trips abroad and the lives of American teenagers. Meanwhile, Anya's parents talk about World War II, the blockade, and the hardships they have endured. By the time Anya and Milka are 15, the Soviet Empire is on the verge of collapse. They pair up with classmates Trifonov and Lopatin, and the four friends share secrets and desires, argue about history and politics, and discuss forbidden books. But the world is changing, and the fleeting time they have together is cut short by a sudden tragedy. Years later, Anya returns to Russia from America, where she has chosen a different kind of life, far from her family and childhood friends. When she meets Lopatin again, he is a smug businessman who wants to buy her parents' dacha and cut down the apple orchard. Haunted by the ghosts of her youth, Anya comes to the stark realization that memory does not fade or disappear. Rather, it moves us across time, connecting our past to our future joys and sorrows. Inspired by Anton Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard, Christina Gorcheva-Newberry's The Orchard powerfully captures the lives of four Soviet teenagers who were about to lose their country and one another, and who struggle to survive, to save their friendship, and to recover all that has been lost. That's The Orchard by Christina Gorcheva-Newberry. The Hummingbird by Simone Varanasi. Marco Carrera is the hummingbird, a man with an almost supernatural ability to remain still amid the chaos of an ever-changing world. Though his life is rife with emotional challenges, suffering the death of his sister and the absence of his brother, caring for his elderly parents, raising his granddaughter when her mother, Marco's own child, is no longer capable, loving an enigmatic woman, Marco carries on with a noble stoicism that belies an intensity for living. As the years pass and the arc of his life bends, Marco finds himself filled with joy for the future as the baton passes from him to the next generation. A beautiful and compelling journey through time told in myriad narrative styles. The Hummingbird is a story of suffering, happiness, loss, love, and hope, of a man who embodies the quiet heroism that defines daily life for countless ordinary folk. A thrilling novel about the need to look to the future with hope and live with intensity to the very end. Sandro Veronesi's masterpiece. Eminently readable, rich in insight, and filled with interesting twists and revelations, is a portrait of human existence, the vicissitudes and vagaries that propel and ultimately define us. The Hummingbird by Simone Veronesi. The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. 8 months since losing her mother in the influenza outbreak of 1919, 21-year-old Lillian Carter's life has completely fallen apart. For the past 6 years, under the moniker Angelica, Lillian was one of the most sought-after artist models in New York City, with statues based on her figure gracing landmarks from the Plaza Hotel to the Brooklyn Bridge. But with her mother gone, a grieving Lillian is rudderless and desperate. The work has dried up, and a looming scandal has left her entirely without a safe haven. So when she stumbles upon an employment opportunity at the Frick Mansion, a building that ironically bears her own visage, Lillian jumps at the chance. The longer she works as a private secretary to the imperious and demanding Helen Frick, the daughter and heiress of industrialist and art patron Henry Clay Frick, the more deeply her life gets intertwined with that of the family, pulling her into a tangled web of romantic trysts, stolen jewels, and family drama that runs so deep the stakes just may be life or death. Nearly 50 years later, mod English model Veronica Weber has her own chance to make her career, and with it earn the money she needs to support her family back home, within the walls of the former Frick residence, now converted into one of New York City's most impressive museums. But when she, along with a charming intern and budding art curator named Joshua, is dismissed from the Vogue shoot taking place at the Frick Collection, she chances upon a series of hidden messages in the museum, messages that will lead her and Joshua on a hunt that could not only solve Veronica's financial woes, but could finally reveal the truth behind a decades-old murder in the infamous Frick family. That's called The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. The Magnificent Lives of Marjorie Post by Allison Pataki. Mrs. Post, the President and First Lady are here to see you. So begins another average evening for Marjorie Merriweather Post. Presidents have come and gone, but she has hosted them all. Growing up in the modest farmlands of Battle Creek, Michigan, Marjorie was inspired by a few simple rules. Always think for yourself, never take success for granted, and work hard, even when deemed American royalty, even when covered in imperial diamonds. Marjorie had an insatiable drive to live and love and to give more than she got. From crawling through Moscow warehouses to rescue the Tsar's treasures, to outrunning the Nazis in London, from serving the homeless of the Great Depression and entertaining Roosevelt's, Kennedy's, and Hollywood's biggest stars, Marjorie Merriweather Post lived an epic life few could imagine. Marjorie's journey began gluing cereal boxes in her father's barn as a young girl. No one could have predicted that C.W. Post Cereal Company would grow into the General Foods empire and reshape the American way of life, with Marjorie as its heiress and leading lady. Not content to stay in her prescribed roles of high society wife, mother, and hostess, Marjorie dared to demand more, making history in the process. Before turning 30, she amassed millions, becoming the wealthiest woman in the United States. But it was her life force, advocacy, passion, and adventurous spirit that led to her stunning legacy. And yet Marjorie's story, though full of beauty and grandeur, set in the palatial homes she built, such as Mar-a-Lago, was equally marked by challenge and tumult. A wife 4 times over, Marjorie sought her happily ever after with the blue-blooded party boy who could not outrun his demons, the charismatic financier whose charm turned to betrayal, the international diplomat with a dark side, and the bon vivant whose shocking secrets would shake Marjorie and all of society. Marjorie did everything on a grand scale, especially when it came to love. Best-selling and acclaimed author Allison Pataki has crafted an intimate portrait of a larger-than-life woman, a powerful story of one woman falling in love with her own voice and embracing her own power while shaping history in the process. That's The Magnificent Lives of Marjorie Post by Allison Pataki. And that's the end of our presentation. And we have another presentation that I'm going to follow up with. So thank you for watching, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Hagaman Library, and on Instagram at Hagaman_East Haven. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have another one to share. A few more books I'd like to talk to you about. Okay. Okay, and these are some of our books that just came out, that are just coming out in May. So the first one I'd like to discuss is called A Girl During the War, and it's by Anita Abrio. Rome, 1943. University student Marina Tozzi is on her way home when she finds out that her father's been killed for harboring a Jewish artist in their home. Fearful of the consequences, Marina flees to Villa I Tatti, the Florence villa of her father's American friend, Bernard Berenson, and his partner, Belle de Costa Green, the famed librarian who once curated J.P. Morgan's library. Florence is a hotbed of activity as partisans and Germans fight for control of the city. Marina, an art expert, begins helping Bernard catalog his library as he makes the difficult trek to neutral Switzerland, helping to hide precious cultural artifacts from the Germans. Adding to the tension, their young neighbor Carlos, a partisan, seeks out Marina for both her art expertise and her charm. Marina, swept up in the romance, dreams of a life together after the war. But when Carlos disappears, all of Marina's assumptions about her life in Florence are thrown into doubt, and she'll have to travel halfway around the world to unravel what really happened during the war. That's called A Girl During the War by Anita Abrio. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hasselwood. The instant New York Times bestseller and book talk sensation is finally on library shelves. As a third-year PhD candidate, Olive Smith doesn't believe in lasting romantic relationships, but her best friend does, and that's what got her into this situation. Convincing Anna and Olive is convincing Anna that Olive is dating and as well as her, and well on her way to a happily ever after, was always going to take more than hand-wavy Jedi mind tricks. Scientists require proof, so like any self-respecting biologist, Olive panics and kisses the first man she sees. That man is none other than Adam Carlson, a young hotshot professor and well-known ass. Which is why Olive is positively floored when Stanford's reigning lab tyrant agrees to keep her charade a secret and her fake boyfriend, and be her fake boyfriend. But when a big science conference goes haywire, putting Olive's career on the Bunsen burner, Adam surprises her again with his unyielding support and even more unyielding six-pack abs. Suddenly, their little experiment feels dangerously close to combustion, and Olive discovers that the only thing more complicated than a hypothesis on love is putting her own heart under the microscope. That's called The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hasselwood. The Club by Ellery Lloyd. The Home Group is a glamorous collection of celebrity members' clubs dotted across the globe where the rich and famous can party hard and then crash out in its five-star suites, far from the prying eyes of fans and the media. The most spectacular of all is Island Home, a closely guarded, ultra-luxurious resort just off the English coast, and its 3-day launch party is easily the most coveted A-list invite of the decade. But behind the scenes, tensions are at a breaking point. The ambitious and expensive project has pushed the Home Group's CEO and his long-suffering team to their absolute limits. All of them have something to hide, and that's before the beautiful people with their own ugly secrets even set foot on the island. As tempers fray and behavior worsens, as things get more sinister by the hour and the body count piles up, some of Island Home's members will begin to wish they'd never made the guest list. Everyone's dying to get in. But at this club, if your name's on the list, you're not getting out. The Club by Ellery Lloyd. Dreamtown by David Baldacci. It's the eve of 1953, and Aloysius Archer is in Los Angeles to ring in the new year with an old friend, aspiring actress Liberty Callahan, when their evening is interrupted by an acquaintance of Callahan's, Eleanor Lamb, a screenwriter in dire straits. After a series of increasingly chilling events, mysterious phone calls, the same blue car loitering outside her house, and a bloody knife left in her sink, Eleanor fears that her life is in danger, and she wants to hire Archer to look into the matter. Archer suspects that Eleanor knows more than she's saying, but before he can officially take on her case, a dead body turns up inside of Eleanor's home, and Eleanor herself disappears. Missing client or not, Archer is dead set on finding both the murderer and Eleanor. With the help of Callahan and his partner, Willie Dash, he launches an investigation that will take him from mob-ridden Las Vegas to the glamorous world of Hollywood to the darkest corners of Los Angeles, a city in which beautiful faces are attached to cutthroat schemers, where the cops can be more corrupt than the criminals, and where the powerful people responsible for his client's disappearance will kill without a moment's hesitation if they catch Archer on their trail. That's Dreamtown by David Baldacci. The Night Shift by Alex Finlay. It's New Year's Eve, 1999. Y2K is expected to end in chaos. Planes falling from the sky, elevators plunging to earth, world markets collapsing, a digital apocalypse. None of that happens. But at a Blockbuster Video in New Jersey, 4 teenagers working late at the store are attacked. Only one inexplicably survives. Police quickly identify a suspect, the boyfriend of one of the victims, who flees and is never seen again. 15 years later, more teenage employees are attacked at an ice cream store in the same town, and again, only one makes it out alive. In the aftermath of the latest crime, 3 lives intersect. The lone survivor of the Blockbuster massacre, who's forced to relive the horrors of her tragedy, the brother of the fugitive accused, who's convinced the police have the wrong suspect, the FBI agent Sarah Keller, who must delve into the secrets of both nights, stirring up memories of teen love and lies, to uncover the truth about murders on the night shift. Twisty, poignant, and redemptive, The Night Shift is a story about the legacy of trauma and how the broken can come out on the other side, and it solidifies Finlay as one of the new leading voices in the world of thrillers. The Night Shift by Alex Finlay. The Lost Book of Eleanor Dare. That's by Kimberly Brock. What happened to the lost colony of Roanoke remains a mystery, but the women who descended from Eleanor Dare have long known that the truth lies in what she left behind, a message carved onto a large stone, and the contents of her treasured commonplace book. Brought from England on Eleanor's fateful voyage to the New World, her book was passed down through the 15 generations of daughters who followed as they came of age. 13-year-old Alice had been next in line to receive it, but her mother's tragic death fractured the unbroken legacy, and the Dare stone and the shadowy history recorded in the book faded into memory, or so Alice hoped. In the waning days of World War II, Alice is a young widow and a mother herself when she is unexpectedly presented with her birthright, the deed to Evertell, her abandoned family home, and the history she thought forgotten. Determined to sell the property and step into a future free of the past, Alice returns to Savannah with her own 13-year-old daughter, Penn, in tow. But when Penn's curiosity over the lineage she never knew begins to unveil secrets from beneath every stone and bone and shell of the old house, and Eleanor's book is finally found, Alice is forced to reckon with the sacrifices made for love and the realities of their true inheritance as daughters of Eleanor Dare. In this sweeping tale from award-winning author Kimberly Brock, the answers to a real-life mystery may be found in the pages of a story that was always waiting to be written. That's The Lost Book of Eleanor Dare by Kimberly Brock. The Good Left Undone by Adriana Trigiani. Matilda, the Cabrelli family's matriarch, has always been brusque and opinionated. Now, as she faces the end of her life, she's determined to share a long-held secret with her family about her own mother's great love story. With her childhood friends Silvio and with dashing Scottish sea captain John Laurie McVickers and the father Matilda never knew. In the halcyon past, Domenica Cabrelli thrives in the coastal town of Viareggio until her beloved home becomes unsafe when Italy teeters on the brink of World War II. Her journey takes her from the rocky shores of Marseille to the mystical beauty of Scotland to the dangers of wartime Liverpool, where Italian Scots are imprisoned without cause. As Domenica experiences love, loss, and grief while she longs for home. A husband, years later, her daughter. 100 years later, her daughter Matilda and her granddaughter Anita face the same big questions about life and their family's legacy, while Matilda contemplates what is worth fighting for. But Matilda is running out of time, and the two timelines intersect and weave together in unexpected and heartbreaking ways that lead the family to shocking revelations and, ultimately, redemption. That's The Good Left Undone by Adriana Trigiani. And that concludes our presentation for today. Thank you for watching. And of course, follow us on social media on Facebook and Twitter at Hagaman Library and on Instagram at Hagaman Library _East Haven. And also, please call the library 203-468-3890 if you'd like to put any of these books on hold, or if you'd like us to put them aside for you. You can also go on our website at www.hagaman, Hagaman library, that's Hagaman Library, one word, .org. So www.hagamanlibrary.org. Click on catalog and my account, and you can log into your account and put these books on hold through your account, your library account on our website as well. So thank you very much for watching today and for listening, and I hope you have a great afternoon. And I will see you next month again for another edition of our new adult fiction reads book talk. Thank you very much.